Who's up next? Ah, great.
Me?
One of these is yours, probably. Is one of these not familiar?
Sorry, what's that?
Is one of these yours?
No. No, I just have that. But I will have a link to. Yes, mine is just COSTmos.
Okay.
But I will have a link. I'll take the presentation. Will they be able to see the?
Yeah, please
Okay.
take us through the screen.
Okay.
I'm looking using this mic.
Again, sorry.
I'm using this mic.
Right, fine.
Okay. And you've got 20 minutes.
Perfect, no problem. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Alfredo, and I'm currently an health economics manager at Takeda. The tool I'm presenting you today, COSTmos, actually was I work on that in my previous employment where I was working on NICE. So it's the product of me and other NICE colleagues that work on that. And this is a good case study about the usefulness of R-HTA because we got this idea about the conference because we got this idea at last year's conference when an health economist from the Netherlands showed this tool called Tatooine, which is both an R package and a nice, a shiny app that can be used by health economists in the Netherlands to have access to different calculation, different data sources, etc. So I think that presentation really was a good showcase on how this kind of tool and package can be helpful for health economists in general. So a group of health economists and data analysts and NICE discussed this internally, and we decided to develop something similar for the UK. So we thank Frederick Thielen and the Tatooine team for inspiring us for this work. So these are the people behind the app COSTmos. So Vanessa, Johnny, Robert, and Magna, they are all super brilliant people in the data analytics team at NICE. And I was the health economist that basically helped on the kind of things that I know will be helpful when I develop an health economic models. The conflict of, I have no conflict to disclose. Of course, this is totally unrelated to my current work at Takeda. So how can this app and package helps? I think it helps in 5 different ways. First, it centralizes a lot of different cost data sources in a single repository that can be easily accessed. It facilitates extraction of data and cost, etc. That sometimes is problematic, particularly from some of these publications. It standardized cost calculation for some health economics analysis that are commonly done. And enables integration into our model because it's, as I said, it's a package and also enable to visualize the data in a very simple, user-friendly way through the shiny dashboard. So talking about cost results in the UK, you're probably familiar with all of these. Sometimes there are several and they're fragmented and they use different website and they also use different formats. So for drug costs, for instance, we will have the drug tariff, which is a monthly Excel publication, and there are different, usually Excel file for the different part of the drug tariff. Sometimes we will use prescription cost analysis that has cost, but also quantity of drug. So sometimes that's helpful, for instance, for market intelligence analysis or when we calculate weighted average across a class, weighted average price across a class. For secondary care cost, we use NHS collection cost, previously NHS reference cost. This is an annual release. It used to be an Excel, now there is a dashboard as well. This comes from NHS England, whereas the data before comes from NHS Business Services Authority. And finally, for the cost of healthcare providers, particularly in primary care, we will use the publication from PSSRU. This is also annually, but importantly, is published as a PDF, so you don't have Excel or you don't have a dashboard for that. And some parameters are available all in previous publication. So what COSTmos does is that use data scraping function to to scrape the web for this information, download this information into a GitHub server, And then through a number of functions, it cleaned the data and it showed the data as standardized table. And then finally, if you want, you can also have access to all these tables in the Shiny dashboard that allow to view this data and also to download the data. As I said, this is both our package and app, and they are publicly available. So you can have access to their package, you can download their package on GitHub in the nice data analytics GitHub page. And also the Shiny app is also publicly available, and we'll look at that later on. So the package, as I mentioned, can be installed already. So if you have the DevTools package, you can directly install COSTmos on your R, and then you can call it like a normal library. And when you do that, then you will have several datasets available. So you will have for drug tariff, insurance collection costs, PCA, and finally for PSSRU, you will have several data sets that you can have access to depending on the healthcare professional that you're interested in estimating the cost. And you can display the structure of the data, and you can also view the file. So this was developed as a package, so you can also view the structure of the file through the question mark command. But also, more importantly, this is very easy to implement in any model that you're developing in R. So, for instance, if you have a model, and in this model you need to estimate the cost of a nurse, you can use COSTmos to get. Actually, we have the 2025 year now. This is the 2024. You can use the unit cost nurse command to extract the cost. And then you can add whether the qualification cost should be added, et cetera, et cetera. And likewise, you can extract the cost of a drug just by using drug tariff and then filtering for the medication that you're interested in. So this makes the implementation in our model very simple. I mentioned that another advantage that I see with this app that was also found by the Tatooine developers was that you can standardize some of the calculation that we usually do in health economics analysis. In our case, for instance, when we estimate the cost of primary care staff, there are different ways of taking into account the training costs, different ways of taking into account the direct to indirect time ratio when you calculate the cost per patient visit, and also different, usually the different duration for a face-to-face or phone appointment are used. But through the app and through our package, these kind of calculation are automatic and automatized. So this is the demonstration phase. You can see the app through this QR code as well. I'll try to use the link. Hopefully it works. So yes, so you can see that this is the database on Shiny. So you have, as I said, different database, the data set that I mentioned. Here you have a search function where you can look at, I don't know, pregabalin drug, and then you will have you will filter for that, and then you can download that as a CSV file. Prescription cost analysis works similarly. For national collection costs, you'll be able to clear and select all and select any of this code. But again, the filtering function, I found it quite useful when I was doing some analysis on NICE. And finally, for the PSSRU, you have, as I mentioned, different way to incorporate or not incorporate qualification costs, so you can just exclude or include it. And you can take into account direct care cost or not. And this is divided for all the different healthcare professionals. And again, you will see in the package, everything is transparently reported. And in the About page, you will also have some information on the package. So going back to the presentation, which I'm not sure how to do now.
It'll go away.
Shall I stop sharing and share again?
Yeah. Hang on. Are you good? You got it?
No, it's not there.
So I'm just going to come out of that.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
So reshare on there. Good to go.
Thank you. So going back to the presentation, in terms of the limitation that I think COSTmos have, first, COSTmos uses semi-automatic or semi-manual approach. Our original plan was to have something like completely automatic, so use something similar to a GitHub action that runs every month, detects whether there is new data available, and if it does, it extracts automatically. However, we found out that this was impossible to do because even like small inconsistency between different publication made COSTmos to break down. So for instance, sometimes the link was wrong or there was an additional table in PSAS-RU. So basically this means that every month some kind of manual check is needed to validate whether the update worked correctly or not. The other limitation is regarding the added value of this app. I found it very helpful, for instance, particularly for PSAS-RU, because that's PDF as most of the time you will have manually to look at the information you need, copy paste, put into your model, etc. But for instance, for national collection codes, NHS collection codes, then now it is provided as a database and as a dashboard itself. Perhaps this is less useful, although you have everything in a single repository. There is a potential of lag of updates. If, for instance, you're interested in a code that was just updated, like a price of a drug that was just updated today, but this COSTmos is run every month, so you will have to wait. And also whether this remain useful depends on whether data providers improve accessibility. And this is something that we see they're going towards that. For instance, I mentioned NHS collection cost. That used to be a nightmare, and now it's a dashboard, very easy to access. So if other database becomes also more accessible, perhaps some COSTmos will lose a bit of its utility. Thank you a lot. As I said, everything is already publicly available. You can have access to both the Shiny app and the GitHub. I want to thank Fredrik Thielen and the Tatooine team for this amazing idea, and also the developing team at NICE, so Vanessa, Johnny, Robert, and Magna. And my main question for the audience is like, what do you think about COSTmos? Is it something that you're interested in using in your day-to-day work? Is there something that is not there that you would like to see? And also, is there like a particular preference you have for the data to be displayed or accessed, any function that you think could be useful? Thank you a lot.
Questions?
Sorry. Yes, I'm going to put in my own request. Can we get emit, please?
What's that?
Emit.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to think about, yes. That will be the natural next step, I think.
I absolutely love this. This is great. A couple of things. The first one is when you were talking about automating the calculations, I didn't see anything about fixing a price year or applying inflation indices, which are published in the PSAS-RU. So you have them. Is that something you could add to the app? Because what you ultimately have to do is set a price year in your model if you don't want to get ripped to shreds by an EAG. Second one, for the transparency point, what would be really nice if we had something a bit more detailed in the reference, so a table number, a page number, where did it come from, the number? Is that something that it can do already, or is that something you would have to add?
So for the first thing, it's something that the app doesn't have at the moment, but it's a very good point. So you can have access, for instance, to PSAS-RU at specific year, but because PSAS-RU also report inflation index, that's something that we can add as a functionality. Totally spot on. In terms of the referencing, the reference that you have in the Shiny apps and in GitHub reference the actual document where this comes from, not the number of the table. Although that will not be too hard because the actual code have the number of the table, because that's how we found the table itself. So perhaps it's something that it will not be too hard to include it. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation.
Hi, Hi, thank you. That was really interesting. It's definitely something that I would use in my day-to-day modeling work. One question that I had, if I were building a model for HTA at NICE and was using R and wanted to use this package, would NICE accept it? Because I think you have to download it separately. It's not on CRAN.
That's a good question. So it is developed by NICE developers, but it's never been used for a NICE submission so far. So I don't know if there will be a requirement for, but still it will still be useful for you to develop the model and use the most up-to-date information and then perhaps double check it before you submit to NICE. But that's something that definitely would be the next step. If the usage of this increases, which at the moment nobody knew about this app, then definitely will be something that we'll think about, like to add this officially as something you can use.
I've got to. So firstly, to address that question, because I work more on technology appraisals than Alfredo. Yeah, NICE will accept that. There's no requirement for packages to be on CRAN for models that are submitted to technology appraisal. So that's absolutely fine. No worries. And then, yes.
Just to say that the requirement for a package to be on CRAN is just kind of cosmetics. CRAN checks for the syntax of a package. It checks that it clears some steps that allow the upload, but it doesn't check for how the package actually works. So that's a separate step, and that's why I think NICE don't need it to be on CRAN as long as it works.
Thank you.
Right, so we've got an online one from Adam, which is, could we please get the unit of activity added? So things like bed day, the unit cost for critical care versus admission, really useful to be in there.
That will be for the NHS collection cost. I think we have the number of episode activity, but I don't think we have other like bed days, etc. So I can check if it's something we can add.
Okay. One last question. Yep. Right, diagonally across.
I think with the PSSRU unit costs, they now have a unit cost adjuster, which is in Excel format. So that might just be easier for you when you're running your various extracts than going from PDF. Are you already using that?
Is it published in the same website?
You might have to sign up for like beta access or beta. Yeah.
We couldn't use in the PDF, but if the Excel contains everything, that would be easier for us to have access for the app like that.
Okay. Yeah, should we leave it there? So it's time for a break. Thank all the speakers.